Hello. This is part two of the pros and cons of being a big man. I just ended the last segment because I find it's better to do like 15-minute segments. I get real fast uploads from this extremely remote area. I live in a very wealthy rural area. Oh gosh, just within a few miles of me, there's a lot of money. And me, I prefer to live very frugally because that's just my nature. It's always been a minimalist and reductionist, and I have the genius of writing abstracts. That's to take a real complex piece of science or whatever and reduce it down to like 250 words or less. In legal writing or science writing, it requires this tremendous innate genius that you have to be born with. So I was talking about the trophy bull syndrome, which is a major point. I remember a night, which actually was the beginning before the Muslim invasion of Austin, Texas, which it's totally ruined. The Muslim and California invasion. Austin, Texas used to be the coolest place to hang out in this whole planet. And, we were friendly people. I mean, the Caddo word Tejas means ally. They say friend, but it's technically ally. People were willing to ally with anybody that weren't obnoxious or violent. And that's the way we Texans are. And I think the way a lot of cultures are. I think Australians are like that. I think a lot of... But, so, to get on with it, it's... At a very early age, I learned that when you go into a bar, because friends would invite me to a bar. I mean, gosh, I've had some incredible experiences by like being invited to the San Mateo County, that's just below San Francisco County, cop bar by my brother, Rolf. And like me and Lenny Fox one night, we screamed down El Camino at like 140 miles an hour. I handled the light, checking the intersections. There's nobody out. We were doing it like 140 miles an hour. Both me and Lenny were drunk. Cops can be, but he's the senior homicide investigator for that county and stuff like that, where they tried Patricia Hearst in her scam with the Symbionese Liberation Army. Yeah, and everybody in that bar were just, connected people. I grew up I started from a small town in Texas of humble beginnings, but actually my people have been super successful in every generation. Well, actually every family has to ride this boom bust economy. That's a fact. Even the English royalty knows it. And Elizabeth, I admire you because you've already made the British rental record. You're past the 64 years already. You put in so many years of service and brought in so many tourism dollars to people. Don't understand that the royal family deserves that $20 billion a year because it's just their cut of the tax money. The 100 million of people a year that go to England are there to see the royals and their palaces and stuff like that. 95% of them. Nobody misses going to Buckingham or... Okay, let me get back on topic. I was talking about the trophy bull, that stopped me from going to really at an early age. And actually in one bar where up in the gold fields of California, where they shot The Klansman starring Richard Burton and Lee Marvin. My brothers took me to a bar where, oh gosh, Burton and Marvin slammed down because the bartender was keeping count. They slammed down 64 martinis in about an hour plus or whatever. But I learned early in life about getting around and to stay out of bars, which, Will from Australia, you learned your lesson, didn't you? You went to a bar with a coworker from the emergency room, male nurse, female nurse, ended up getting convicted wrongfully for first what we call here in America date rape, and then reduced to what you call drink drugging. Don't go to bars, people. I don't drink in public. I drink here at home. It's Shabbos. I'm trying to have a good time. So, there's so many advantages to be a big man. I mean, like you can get employed. This is another pro before another con. Everybody on this planet wants to hire a tall, blonde-haired, and despite these few remaining, like in my beard, I have all my sisters and ancestors' genetics. You know, every color of the spectrum in my beard. In my hair, there's a few of the brunette hairs that you see. That anyway. But everybody wants to hire a tall, light-haired, blue-eyed, well-spoken, well-behaved, excellent table manners and conversational manners. Man, not woman. They want men. Because as I learned early in life as a sales representative of Prestige Optics in San Francisco, that I can be, as Robert J. Ringer talked in his book, because he's like a foot shorter than me. He wrote the book Winning Through Intimidation. It's kind of a manifesto thing. I can be intimidating and close a deal without. Everybody wants people like me. Actually, I was hired by Prestige Optics. Actually, they came after me. Like a lot of my early employment was people were coming after me because that's what they wanted. I was recruited. I was footballed, everything else. The feds. They wanted me. I was what they were looking for. I was super strong, super fast. I remember one day in one ophthalmologist's office that was new to me. I hadn't seen him before. I was doing a presentation of new product and stuff like that, and we covered pretty much the whole spectrum except for contact lenses and stuff like that. And because his chairs leaned back, and at age 14 I had my first spinal fracture. It found him uncomfortable. I was kind of leaning forward. Well, I did the presentation. He had some bad chairs too. He was really dead. And then when I was seeing he wasn't buying, I leaned back and I just blew off that hour. As soon as I leaned back, I realized that when I was leaning forward, that was aggressive posture. When I leaned back, as soon as I leaned back, boom, $500 commission for that hour. Okay? There's all kind of pros and cons to being big. I think I still want to be big. You know what I'm saying? That's profound. I just realized that Because today in town, when I was shopping for Shabbos and Hanukkah, I ran into a guy that used to be a jockey and knew the most famous jockey. I said, dude, I used to go to Bay Meadows and Golden Gates Fields, and I knew, I used to watch, what's his name? Shoemaker, the most famous jockey in American history and stuff like that. I used to watch. He immediately, actually, I had trouble getting him off my ass before I left the store. He was, and so, but I'm old. And the secret to preventing dementia is continue to learn and analyze and especially triggering orientation response, which I'm bad on. I'm serious. I really can't. I'm have trouble. I have to go to YouTube to find music that is new to me, trigger orientation response, but isn't just totally trance-like or offensive or, so I'm not going to pay no money to and spend the time through the various, how many music services are there. So I'm just here to try to tell you that it's great to be big, but the problem is that everybody wants you to work for them. Even my oldest brother, evil oldest brother, which the previous my four videos was about him dying. He still, after we had a fallout and everything, he tried to rob my mom, everything, he still go around telling everybody, I want me to work for him. I'm not going to ever tell you my real full name. Please, the world's full of identity thieves. Nobody ever gets my mom's maiden name or full name. Doesn't happen. I'm very cautious about that. I know the rules. You may think I'm stupid, but I'm not. I've proven it over and over again that I'm one of the strongest, fastest, brightest people. Today in town, as a matter of fact, I met a Catholic man. He stopped. Are you Jewish? I recognized his face. Actually, he's kind of knew the area. I said sure, and so and we had a great conversation and stuff like that. I need to move on because I'm up to almost 13 minutes. Look, in trying to sum up, I have less than 2 minutes. Little people, which is now the majority, because humanity is devolving. I'm a scholar. And that's what I was taught in anthropology 40 years ago. And in the last global measurement, you're down another 200 cc's. I carry the oldest DNA on this planet. Don't mean to make you feel bad, but I'm truly genetically superior. I got giant teeth. I got giant brain, 28 teeth, not 32 or wisdoms or impacted or with 5 cusped molars. Look it up in anthropology. I'm just here to try to let you know that about the sometimes hilarious and or sometimes almost lethal benefits of being a big man. I'm old now, very old, but I've survived so many battles. I've survived the worst torture imaginable. And I love myself. You can't love another person until you love yourself. That's really the ultimate statement of this whole 2-video series is and that's my problem, is a lot of little people don't love themselves because they're not big. Get over it, dude. Do something worth loving, okay?